Are you sleeping? Celeste. Celeste. What are you going to get me for my birthday? Right, birthday. What are you getting Brent for his birthday?
No.
What are you getting me for my birthday? Oh, hi.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, just reading.
I was sleeping.
Yeah, you were talking in your sleep.
Oh, I was having such a nice dream.
About what?
We were on a cruise, and the food was amazing. And you even took me dancing, and you were even good at dancing.
That must have been a dream.
Why did you wake me up?
Because you were talking.
Well, at least I have all this. And you, I guess.
Oh, great, thanks.
A
I had a dream once. Did I ever tell you about it?
few times.
Which one?
Your growing up dream.
About being a baseball player?
I've heard it before.
I know. And you know what? I never made it. But I guess some of us see our dreams. Some of us don't see them accomplished. But you know what? There's something I don't think about enough.
I know. Like laundry and dishes and fixing the
No.
bed and filling
Not
the
like that.
van with gas.
No, I get it. What I don't think about enough is how my dreams fit into God's eternal purposes.
Wow, this got very serious very quickly.
Well, it's true, though.
Yeah, you're definitely not talking about sleep dreams right now. You're talking more about like ambitions.
Right.
Yeah, things we want for the future that we would spend a lot of time and energy trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me think actually of a guy I knew in high school. I grew up in a small town, well, you know. But this boy, he was from a really poor family, and he really struggled with that. They never had enough money, so all he could talk about was his dream to leave that town. So he just wanted to go to university, become a doctor, make a lot of money. People would look up to him.
Did it work, or is he still there?
No, he eventually fulfilled his dream.
Yeah, I guess when we think of dreams, we think of some sort of achievement, or like we want to be the CEO or an engineer or a doctor, or somebody famous.
Yeah, well, but probably most people just want to settle down and be able to provide enough for their families.
Yeah, and I guess that's a noble purpose. But actually, when you're sleeping, I was just reading in the Bible. I was reading in Hebrews chapter 11, and I love Hebrews chapter 11 because it's like God's hall of faith. And so, thinking about dreams and achievement, I was thinking about Moses. And here, do you want to read what I was reading? Do you want to read there Moses or Hebrews chapter 11 and do 24 to 27?
Okay. By faith, Moses, when he was grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be mistreated with the people of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He considered the reproach of Christ greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking to the reward. By faith he left Egypt, not being afraid of the anger of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible.
So when we think about Moses, and we're talking about dreams, and what do you see, when we compare his dream to everybody else's, what do we see there?
Well, Moses had everything when he was growing up. He lived in Pharaoh's palace. He would have had a lot of money, a lot of opportunities, education, prestige. But even though he had all of those things, he chose to abandon that, and instead he wanted to identify with the people of God, even though at the time they were slaves.
Yeah, and I like what it says. By faith, Moses, when he was grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be mistreated with the people of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin.
I think naturally most of us would want what Moses had, and we might even choose to stay in Egypt, but not him. He refused.
I think sad is often, as Christians, we can, identifying with Christ makes it harder for us in some contexts in our work as we're trying to achieve our dreams. And some people even find themselves ashamed to be called a Christian. I think what we don't realize is that God's dreams and God's plans for our lives are far greater than what we could ever imagine on our own.
So do you think then that we should all just forget our dreams of settling down and wait to see what God wants us to do?
No, and I don't think that's what Moses did either. But what he did do is he made a decision to put God's plans above his own. So when the time was right, he was able to make the right decision.
So what do you think that means for us now?
Okay, well, let's talk about what we talked about earlier when we talk about people's dreams and achievements that they want to see. So they want higher status, higher pay. They want people to recognize them. What's the common theme in all this?
I'm not sure.
Okay, making more money for yourself, winning the lottery, preparing or being able to provide for your family. What do you see in there?
Okay, so they're all more or less about money and comfort.
Yeah, money for whom?
For the one who's dreaming.
Yeah, so it's about putting yourself above other people, bettering yourself, or making more money for yourself. It's really selfishness.
Okay, but everybody's doing that. And you have to admit, Brent, like the world is a dangerous place. So if you don't look out for yourself, who will?
Sure, the world is dangerous, but it's not any more dangerous than it was in Moses' time. Moses had to make, when Moses made this decision, he was facing either running away or death.
But nobody does anything like that today.
Well, not many do, but those that do, God gives them a dream and a purpose for their life far greater than what they could ever imagine.
Would you admit, though, like it seems hard to think about leaving comfort and wealth to endure possible hardship and even possibly face death?
Sure, it's hard, but what would you rather have? Would you rather have just stuff and life, or would you rather live for something bigger than yourself? That's the beauty of being a Christian, that you get to be a part of something far greater than you could ever imagine, something that lasts for eternity.
Brent, you've given me a lot to think about. I mean, what you're talking about is a really difficult challenge, but it's definitely a worthwhile challenge. So I'm glad we had this serious conversation. And just to recap, I want to go over the points that we talked about. The first thing we discussed is dreams, the dreams of average people which focus on worldly achievement. These dreams do not align with the eternal purposes of God. We learned about the life of Moses and his possible dream life in Egypt. He chose to throw away the dream life in order to suffer and fulfill the greatest purposes of God. We also learned that it can be an extremely hard decision to make, to throw away the pleasures of the present for heavenly promises of the future. And we talked about how it is futile to live for self, but edifying and glorifying to live for fulfilling God's eternal purposes, even though their benefits may not be seen immediately.
And we should not forget that God used Moses to save the children of Israel from the bondage of slavery. Today, God's eternal purpose is to use each child of God to share the gospel with the lost, so that people can be saved from the wrath of God. And we should not forget that I've already got 2 tickets for that cruise you were dreaming about, and we're leaving May 15th.
You got me a cruise?
I got you a cruise, but I'm not sure about the dancing.
No, please dance with me.